In the last session, we have seen bucket policies, right? And also we have created a simple bucket policy to allow everyone to read. And also we created a customized or some complex bucket policy to allow a single user or individual users to access data from a single S3 bucket, right? That's what we covered in the last session. So in this session, we will go with small topics, leftover features available on S3. One is a directory bucket. One is directory bucket. And the second one is Snow family. We'll talk about that Snow family also. So if you recollect, at the time of creating the first session of the S3, I mentioned that we have two different types of buckets available. One is general purpose bucket, and the second one is a directory bucket, right? And I mentioned whatever the features or options what we are discussing, those are only applicable for the general purpose buckets. Let me show you. So how we create bucket generally, just we will navigate to the S3 service. Then here you can see two different options, general purpose buckets and directory buckets. We have seen a lot of options till now, and every option is available on general purpose bucket. Then what is this directory buckets? These directory buckets were a recent type of buckets. They are like 2 years old or so. These are like 2 years old feature exists on S3. These directory buckets are for a requirement where we need what we call that very high performance. I am not supposed to say performance. Yeah, I can say very low latency, very low latency. What does that mean by latency? La Latency is whenever we send a request, right? We will receive a response. The time takes to send a request and to receive the response is called as a latency. Let us say you are using some kind of data ETL tools, data analytics kind of tools. So what this tool will do, it will try to read the data from some sources, right? If you're planning to use S3 bucket as a source, they must provide very minimum latency, or else the data analytics tool might not process the data with high performance and all the things. In such cases, wherever you need a single digit millisecond latency, you can see on the screen whatever I'm highlighting. Also, not like here and there, just consistent single digit millisecond latency, like throughout the day, 24 by 7, whenever your application or your use case requires single digit millisecond latency, then you have to use a directory buckets. Then you might ask a question. If the directory bucket is providing or offering single digit millisecond latency, why should I use general purpose buckets? That's a valid question, right? That's actually a valid question. The reason is directory bucket doesn't offer you all these features, whatever we discussed, like multiple storage classes. There is no lifecycle rules, there is no replication, even there is no high reliability. I will show you the moment once we create the directory bucket, then we can see like what are the features available, what are the different storage classes available and all. So here, let me write down like a directory bucket. So these directory buckets are optimized for use cases that require consistent single digit millisecond latency. First, let us create a bucket. Then we will discuss about the limitations and all. Okay. So here, how to create the same process. Instead of general purpose bucket, select the directory buckets tab. Just wait, it is trying to load. So in the S3, generally what we learn, whenever we create a bucket, whenever you upload the data, almost for every storage class except one zone IA, your data is replicated across minimum 3 availability zones, right? So if any availability zone is down, your data can be accessed and recovered from the other availability zones, right? Okay. Now here, coming to the directory bucket, Let me click on create bucket. While creating, we will learn some new points. Click on create bucket, directory bucket. What is the use case? You can see recommended for low latency use cases, right? Which already I mentioned. The other thing is whatever the objects you upload into the directory bucket, the storage class of such objects are only S3 Express One Zone storage class. This is a special storage class. Already you might know one zone IA, right? So this is S3 Express One Zone, not IA. It is for regular access data only. But what are the limitations? The advantage is it provides faster performance, but the limitation is your data is getting stored across single availability zone. Means there is no high availability. In the case of worst thing, there might be a chances, high chances that you might lose your data. These buckets use only the S3 Express One Zone storage class. You can't use general purpose. You can't use intelligent tier. You can't use like infrequent access IA, standard IA, standard or a one zone IA, glacier deep archive. There is no such storage classes exist. Only one storage class, which is express one zone storage class. That also we will observe. Okay. Here, at the time of creating a general purpose bucket, there is no concept of availability zone. There is no concept of availability zone. But here, your data is getting stored in a single availability zone, and you have to choose in which availability zone you would like to create the bucket. So in which region right now we are in Northern Virginia. In Northern Virginia, how many availability zones are there? 6 availability zones, right? So here under availability zone, you can see 1, 2, 3, only 3, 4, 5, 6. It is not showing 1, 2, 3. That might be depending on the availability and all. So on what basis I have to choose the availability zone? Which availability zone I have to choose? 4, 5, or 6? Can I choose any? Or what is the best way? What is the best way? To make it more simple, let me show you a different thing. So let us say, so you have an EC2 instance running, right? EC2, in which there is a data analytics tool is running. Okay. So what is the data analytics tool? There is a user, right? He will log into that EC2 instance and he will run the tool. And this tool must read the data, right? It must read the data from some source. Here I'm going to use this S3 bucket as a source. Means this EC2 instance will establish the connection and it will read the data and it will perform all other activities. Now, so here it is going to be directory bucket. Is going to be directory bucket. Now the question is, in which availability zone I need to create this S3 bucket? So here there are, let us say, 3 availability zones, right? 4, 5, and 6. In which availability zone I need to create? Any guess? Anybody? Can anybody guess in which availability zone is recommended to create this S3 bucket? That depends on the availability zone of this particular EC2 instance. It is highly recommended to create this directory bucket in the availability zone from which the data is getting loaded regularly. Simple thing. Let us say there are 5 different buildings. Each building is 10 kilometers away. So you want to store some food, right? Generally, in which building you would like to store the food? The building which is very near to you, so that immediately or within no time you can get access to that particular food and all the things. The same way, always we need to store or we need to maintain the data close to your server. Then you will get very low latency and the performance will be high. So without knowing in which availability zone this particular EC2 instance is available, I can't say which is the best availability zone to create this directory bucket. So here, let us say it is in the US East 1E. Then here, in which availability zone we need to create the S3 bucket? E, A, okay, it seems here there is no E. Let us say F. So then here, see, this is in 1A, it is in 1B, and it is in 1F. So I need to choose 1F. Then you need to select the checkbox. Now, the question is, I said in only one availability zone, the data is getting stored, right? In only one availability zone, the data is getting stored. But now the question is, how many copies of your data will be maintained? Only one copy? How many copies of data? Is it going to be one? No. So reliability, they won't compromise. So what they do is they will maintain multiple copies of the data, like whatever the data we upload, multiple copies will be maintained across multiple devices, but in the same availability zone. But in the same availability zone. What is the meaning of that? If in your laptop, there are like multiple drives. There are multiple drives, right? So if you store the images in C drive one copy, D drive one copy, E drive one copy, there is no problem. But what if the entire laptop got crashed or it was in a fire accident, then all the hard disks will be burned, right? In such cases, there will be a data loss. So we can't say that 3 copies of your data will be maintained. Just they will say multiple copies. That's it. Your data will be stored across multiple devices. We can say 2. There is no point of minimum 3. The 3 is in general purpose bucket. So I can say here, directory buckets store the data across multiple devices, like a copy in the computer, a copy in the pen drive. But computer and pen drive both are in the same building. If something went wrong to that building, you will lose the data from your computer and the pen drive. Okay. Let me copy this point also. Okay, now the next point. Bucket name. Do we need to follow same rules like for general purpose buckets? See here, the directory bucket names must be 3 or 63 characters, but they include suffix. They include suffix. So what is the difference between the prefix and suffix? Prefix in the sense whatever you will add in front of the name. Suffix means at the end of the suffix. Let us say I want to create a bucket, my first bucket, my first bucket, but the bucket name will be my first bucket hyphen hyphen use1 dash az5 dash dash x dash s3. That is going to be the name of the bucket. What is the meaning of that? Automatically they will add the availability zone. What is the availability zone? use1 dash az5 dash dash x dash s3. That is what they are going to add. So that directory bucket names must be 3 to 63 characters the same way, including the suffix and unique within the chosen region and availability zone. But the regular S3 buckets, they must be unique across all AWS accounts also. Let me show you. So here, if I use this my first bucket, the chances of someone might taken this particular name is very high, right? Also, you can see directory bucket names must also begin and end with a letter or a number. And you can use a hyphen also, but you can't, you can use a hyphen, but you can't use a dot here. You cannot use dot. Okay, now what I do is let me try to create the bucket, and I will keep all options as is, but you don't see much options here, right? Let me click on create bucket. Yeah, bucket got created, right? Okay. Now this is our bucket. Just wait, let me refresh. Okay. So if I click on the bucket name, let me upload an object. Okay, let me write down create a directory bucket in Northern Virginia region and in 1F or I can say in US East 1F availability zone. Okay, right now upload any object. Let me click on upload, add files. Let me choose any file here, right? And properties. How many storage classes here? There is only one storage class. You can't change the storage class. In the regular buckets, you can see standard IA, intelligent tier, one zone IA, glacier instant retrieval, glacier flexible retrieval, glacier deep archive. And apart from that, there is something called reduced redundancy storage also. But in the directory bucket, there is only one way or one storage class, which is S3 Express 1 zone, right? Okay. Then let us see a few other things also. Public access is always blocked for directory buckets, means whatever the object you upload. Okay, let us see that. Let us see that in the next step. Let me create the bucket. Click on upload. Object is getting uploaded. And we observe there is only one storage class supported, which is one Express 1 zone storage class. There is no other storage classes available. Okay, done. Now I want to make this object public. Is that possible or not? Let us try. Select the object, click on actions. See here, there is no such options. Okay, let me try to enable ACL. Go to permissions. So block public access is always on. There is no option to turn it off, which means you cannot make the objects as a public object. Only way is you can provide using the IAM roles. You can provide access to someone using the roles. Bucket policies also you can do. Then ACLs are disabled. There is no option to edit. In simple words, we can say, we don't get much options. Only encryption is available. Encryption is available. See here, server-side encryption S3, server-side encryption KMS. But there is no double layer server-side encryption feature, which is available on general purpose S3 buckets. Okay, so these are the limitations. Okay, let us go to properties. Encryption is available. You can use tags, but there is no static website hosting, right? There is no static website hosting feature. It's the end of the page. You can't get any other options. Okay, let me go to management. There is no lifecycle configuration here, lifecycle rules. There is no replication, right? So you will get very limited things. So I can say, let me go to permissions. Where it is. Let me write down a point. Always block public access is enabled and we cannot turn it off. We cannot turn it off. then how can we provide permissions? Which means you cannot make any objects in the directory bucket as a public object. What if you want to provide access? We need to use bucket policy bucket policy and IAM policies or roles to allow anyone to access the objects. This is the only way that you can allow someone to access the objects. Okay, right. So are you guys clear with the directory buckets? There is only one chance that you might get a question in the interview is what is the use of directory bucket? The only use of the directory bucket is to provide high performance, low latency access. What is the limitation? The data is getting stored in only one availability zone. That is the first limitation. And the second limitation is you don't get multiple storage classes in that bucket. Only one storage class available, which is Express One storage class. These are the things you must remember. Okay, right? Any questions on this particular, what do we call that? This directory bucket? Any questions? If you guys are clear, let us go with some other small topic. I didn't say no reliability. I said you can't achieve high reliability. Reliability is like generally what is the reliability? If in case something went wrong, right? How much data we can recover? Let us say that, and suddenly the availability zone got crashed, right? In the other S3 buckets, there is a reliability called this much reliability. Means out of 100 crore objects or something, right? Over a period of 100 years, there might be a possibility of losing only one object. Here, you can't get that much reliability. There is slightly less reliability. There is a high chance. Like even we have something called one zone IA, right? One zone IA storage class. There also the reliability is less. I mean, like whenever something wrong, availability is less. Whenever something is wrong, there is a chances that you might lose your data, which will never happen, but there is a chances. Okay, right. So, okay. Any other questions? Okay. So now, before getting into the other feature or a small topic, let us talk about some scenario. Let us say you are working for a company. Okay, you are working for an organization. So let us say this is your organization, and you are using on premises, like all your servers are located in your organization only. And there is a storage also. Let us say it is like 100 GB storage. Now your company is planning to move all the servers and everything into the cloud. And they decided to go with AWS. So what you will do first in the AWS, you will create the servers, right? And you will configure everything and you will make it them up and running and you can terminate here. Now, how can you move this 100 GB data into AWS cloud? So where you can store, let us say you want to move all the data into S3. Okay, you want to move all the data into S3. So what you will do, you will use a browser or you can use some tools also. Even you can access S3 using some tools also. For example, you can use WinSCP also, just a tool instead of using a browser. But it requires what we call that secret access key and access key and secret access key. WinSCP is there, or something called S3 browser is there. There's also a tool. Okay. So here, what you'll do, you will open in your laptop, you will open a browser. You will click on upload and all 100 GB data will be uploaded, right? There is no problem. Even if you have like 100 Mbps internet speed, that's okay. You can upload all the data. But now the question is, you want to migrate, let us say, uh, 30 terabytes of data, 30 terabytes of data. There is an option you can upload using the internet also. Like use the internet, click on upload and upload to S3 bucket. But the problem is, whenever you're using your internet to upload 30 terabytes, it definitely will take few days of time, right? 10 days or 20 days or so. During the 10 days or 20 days, the entire internet will be used, the entire internet bandwidth will be used for this particular data upload, which means all other servers in your organization, the users will not get proper internet connection. That's the first thing. Second problem is, what if suddenly there is a fluctuation in the internet? If the internet feed goes up and down, then again you have to re-upload everything. It will take a kind of infinite process. To avoid all these things, Amazon is offering a service called Snow Family. Snow Family. What is the Snow Family? Snow Family is a mechanism to transfer huge amount of data from on-premise to cloud, or from cloud to on-premise. How do they increase your internet speed, or do they lay down some kind of a special cable or network connectivity from the AWS data center to your house or office? No. So here in this Snow family, we are going to use a physical device, or I can say physical storage device. Okay, let us say you want to send 500 GB data to your friend who is in Bangalore. Definitely you don't use internet, right? What you will do, you'll purchase a small pen drive, or if you have a hard disk, you will load all the data into the hard disk and simply you will courier it. Within 3 to 4 days, your friend will receive the data and all the things. But that's not a secure way, right? But here, Amazon is going to send you a secure device, which is fireproof and dust proof, and it's a highly secure. How it is, I can say it is a highly secure. It is an encrypted device. Means if some unauthorized person got access to that storage, they can't see any data. But in our case, if our pen drive is in someone's hand, he can connect to his computer and he can see all the data, right? So here they will encrypt using KMS key. So you knows the key, Amazon knows the key, nobody else knows the key. So what we will do, we will load all the data and we will say to which S3 bucket it has to be connected. And you will courier it. Once Amazon receive that storage, they will move all the data into S3 bucket. Simple thing. Copying 100 GB over the internet is slower than copying 100 GB of data into your pen drive, right? But here we are not talking about 100 GB, we are talking about terabytes and petabytes of data. Terabytes and petabytes of data. So here we have a multiple devices available in the Snow family, depending on the size of the data which you want to transfer. One is a snow cone, snowball, and snow family. The purpose of the Snow family, there are two different use cases. One is for data migration. One is data migration, and the second one is computing service. I will explain what this computing service and all. For now, let us talk about this data migration. So here I said 3 different Snow family devices. Unfortunately, we can't do the practical, but I will show you all the options. You will know why we can't do the practical, because of the charges. I guess they cost us like 250 US dollars for the device to send you the device. Whether you upload 1 MB file or whether you upload a 1 GB file, they don't care about that. They will charge you $250 for 10 days. If you keep more days with you, the device, per day, they will cost you like they will charge you $25 and all. Okay. First, let me show you the images, how they looks like and all. Let me go to Google. So first, let me show you snow cone, AWS snow cone. Let me go to images. Looks like your external hard disk, right? But bigger in size. But bigger in a size. Right. So here you can see the image. There's a snow cone. There's a snow cone. Let me show you. See here. This is the one. You need to connect that to your laptop and you can copy all the data and you can send it back to AWS. There's a snow cone. And then what is the second one? Snow ball. Same kind of a device, but bigger in size. It depends on like how much data you want to transfer. It is a terabyte scale, right? So here is it AWS website? Yeah, aws.amazon.com. Snowball. Let us compare the snow cone, snowball, and snowmobile. There is no, these all are like clients. Let me okay. While creating, I will compare the things. It's just okay. Here you can see AWS Snowball, which can supports 250 terabytes of data. Snowball Edge, 100 terabytes data. Snowmobile, it's a petabytes of data. Let me show you the image also. Snowmobile, there's a kind of a truck actually. Simply, they will send you the truck. In this container, they connect a huge amount of storage. They connect multiple storage devices together, which supports 100 petabytes of a data. And 24/7 monitoring is available. And it is connected to your office network using an optical fiber cable, which can support huge amount of data transfer. That is what the Snow Mobile is. Official Amazon pictures only. It's all official Amazon's picture. So let me show you AWS or snow cone versus a snowball versus snowmobile. So let me open this image. This is also AWS website. Always I request you to get the information from official AWS website, official AWS documentation page. The reason is you might get from the third-party websites also, but sometimes that information might be outdated. Okay, right. So you see here, AWS Snow family for data collection and data movements. The Snow cone can support up to 24 terabytes of data. If you want to move up to 20 terabytes, you can use Snow cone. If you want to move up to 10 petabytes of data, you can use Snowball Edge Storage Optimized. Up to 10 petabytes. And the Snowmobile up to exabytes, but actual storage is different, which I will show you. See here, storage capacity for us, for better understanding purpose, snow cone is used up to 8 terabytes, is used to move up to 8 terabytes, whereas the snowball edge is used to transfer 80 terabytes of storage, whereas snowmobile up to 1000 petabytes. How many TB is equal to petabytes? Any guess? How many terabytes are equal to petabyte? You can say petabytes to terabytes. Conversion, Google will show you. See here, 1 petabyte is 1,000 terabytes. 100 petabyte means how many terabytes? Almost like 100,000. 100,000. How 100,000 terabytes. See here, almost 1 lakh terabytes of data can be moved using Snow Mobile. So depends on your requirement, you have to choose. Okay, let us say I want to get one snow cone or snowball. Snowmobile directly you can't order. You have to raise a request in the support. You need to negotiate with them. You need to get some quotations. You need to get some kind of payments and all. Then they will send you the snowmobile, and it might get scheduled for like 1 year or so. It depends on availability. So which we can't do as an individual, but let us see with some snow cone or snow ball. So here in the search, you have to go for snow family, search for snow family, AWS Snow family. See here, large scale data transport. Here we can't do any practical, just I will show you the things. Okay, in the meanwhile, let me open AWS Snow family pricing, and there is a documents page, docs.aws.amazon.com, where we can get all the information. Okay, so here see, order and Snow family device, and create your large data migration plan for migration greater than 500 terabytes. If you click here, this is for more than 500 terabytes of data. If you are moving less than 500 terabytes, you can click here, order an AWS Snow family device. See, the AWS Snow family helps customers that need to run operations in austere non-data center environments and in locations where there is a lack of consistent network connectivity. Because if there is no network connectivity, obviously there is a ups and downs and the data transfer might get interrupted. Okay, now here let me open this pricing in a new tab. Let me click on order an AWS Snow family device. Open, let me refresh. Okay, so here what we have to do first, we need to create a job name. I will say my data transfer. What is the requirement? You want to move from office to cloud or cloud to office? I want to move from office to cloud, then I have to choose this one. What is the second option? If you want to move the data from S3 bucket to your office, then you have to choose this one. And what is this third option? This is what local compute and storage only. What does that means? Means you can get the Snow device and you can use the device in your office without transferring the data, and that Snow family you will get some CPU and RAM, so you can run that device as a compute capacity in your office. Generally, the people who are in remote locations where there is no proper network connectivity, proper hardware available, they will use this as a servers also. Generally, here we are talking about data migration, import into Amazon S3. I want to move the data into Amazon S3. Then click on next. See here, effective now. I mean, there is some support notice. Effective November 7, 2025, AWS Snowball Edge devices will only be available to existing customers. New customers should explore AWS Data Sync for online transfers, AWS Data Transfer Terminal for secure physical transfers. That's the new features. Okay, so here with the Snow device, I will get 104 CPU, because to move the data also it consumes some compute capacity, right? In that device, I will get 104 CPU, 416 GB of memory with a 210 terabytes of SSD. Pricing option, on demand per day pricing. Select the storage type, S3 data transfer. You have to choose a bucket. Let me choose a bucket. So all the data will be copied into this particular S3 bucket. Then click on next. Next. A key, encryption key. I can choose my KMS key. Service role, because Amazon will use, or they will access your S3 bucket, right? So here we are providing some import export service with some permissions. Just click that, automatically that will be created. Just use some address. I could have selected this as a India so that you will get some all the things properly. Okay, so shipping speed, 1 day shipping or 2 day shipping. That doesn't mean you will receive within 1 day or 2 days. They will pack and they will ship it. Okay, dispatching, kind of a dispatch, but it will take 4 weeks. Then notifications, we haven't covered the SNS yet. What does that mean is, for every phase, once it is ready to dispatch, once it is shipped, you will receive the notifications. That is what SNS. Okay, but here in the US, whatever the address you type, they will validate it. But here I entered some wrong address, right? That's why we are not able to locate your address. Check the spelling and abbreviations used. Like that, you have to click next, 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 finish, so that Amazon will send you the Snow family device. But what about the cost? What about the cost? Let me show you pricing. Yeah, here is the pricing. Right. For Snowball, on-demand job fee for up to 100 terabytes, whether you upload 10 KB, 1 KB, that doesn't matter, up to 100 terabytes, includes 15 days. It seems they changed it. Earlier, it was 10 days only. They will cost you $1,800 in Northern Virginia. Seems almost in every region the same pricing, 1,800, right? Okay. And for more than 101 terabytes, up to 210 terabytes, it's $3,200. And beyond 15 days of use, you will charge per day $250. Means if you keep that device with you for more than 15 days, then you will be charged like this. Okay. Then let me scroll down for other things. This is a Snowball Edge, right? If you want to know like pricing example, let us say if you are importing 80 terabytes into EU using that Snowball Edge, so you would pay a service fee for one device at $1,800 plus round trip shipping. Receiving the device, sending the device, that cost also on you. And where it is, the total cost of importing 80 terabytes to AWS would be $1,800. And there are no data transfer fees, because always on AWS, data import is free. Always data import is free. But if you are downloading the data, then there might be some data transfer charges. See here, export 125 TB out of the Asia Pacific to storage optimized device. Means if you are getting the data from one region to your office, then 210 TB, 3,200. Then see here, per GB, $0.05. For every GB of data which you will move from AWS to your office, there is a cost of $0.05. And what about the other things? Let me get into the other snow cone charges and all the things. This is Snowball. So let me go with snow cone pricing. That is a little bit cheaper. The Snowball. Yeah. If I don't use the AWS, it is showing some kind of kitchenware and all the things. Let me try to get the snow cone, or else we can go to the AWS calculator where we can get all the details. It seems it's a snow cone, snowball pricing. This is a snowball. Okay, sorry. It seems they discontinued the snow cone services from November 12, 2024, but we can use it. I mean, existing customers can use it. There is no problem with that. It seems that's why in the official website, we don't see such information, the pricing and all. The pricing and all are not available, but this is the old account only. Okay, this is not the old account. It was created in the March or February. That's why I'm not getting the snow cone kind of a thing. Actually, at the time of creating the snow family, you will be asked like what option you have to choose, snow cone or snow family. So here we did not get right directly. We got the snow ball only. There is no snow cone option available, right? The reason is what are the accounts created after November 14th or November some 2024, they can't use the snow cone. If you have any old device, we can check that. You will be able to get that snow cone also. Okay. Right. So whenever someone asks you like, what is the service we have to use for huge data transfers, huge data migrations? For now, the only option is Snow Family. But in the future, you can say there is a new service called Data Sync. That Data Sync you can use. Okay. Right. This is about the Snow Family. Just no need to write anything. Just if there is a question about what is the best service or best tool to migrate a huge amount of data, that is what the Snow Family is. That is what the Snow Family is. That is what we have to remember. Apart from that, nothing to remember or nothing, right? In the there is a chance that you might get a question in the certification about the Snow Family. One question, one or zero, you don't get more than one. But as it is getting what we call that, the service is not, they're not going to continue, there is a less chances that you will get a question on Snow Family, even in the certification point of view. But definitely, because when I attended in 2022, I guess in 22 or so, I attended the architect level certification. Then I remember I received the question for Snow Family. I think that was about Snow Mobile to migrate 1,000 petabytes of like 100 petabytes of data or 50 petabytes of data. What service you would like to use? The only way is Snow Mobile, right? Okay. So any questions? Any questions on the directory bucket or Snow Family? Yes, if you want to move the data from S3 to your office using the Snow Family, then the initial, what we call that, the initial cost for 20 days is applicable, and the amount of data what you download also chargeable. Yes, only for data migration, and that to not small data, huge data transfers, we will get these devices from AWS. You might ask a question. I have 1,000 terabytes of data, external hard drives. Can I copy all the data to my hard disk, and can I send my hard disk to AWS? No, they won't accept such kind of devices because they do have some rules that what devices to connect and all. They will never ever connect unauthorized or outside devices into the data center. Yes. Device rent plus download data. For uploading, device rent plus no uploading charges. You can upload infinite data without any cost. I mean, there is no data transfer charges for uploading. For downloading, data transfer charges are applicable. How many GBs of data you download, for those many GBs, you will be charged $0.015 or something per GB. Right. Any questions? Any questions? Okay, then if you guys are clear, let us stop the session here. And tomorrow we will talk about another storage service, which is FSX. There is also a storage, but not a kind of S3 or not a kind of a EBS. That's a one-day topic. We will complete the theory and practical in the same session. Okay, right. Thank you, everyone. We'll continue tomorrow with FSX service.